you posted this thing that said, you know what, people, don't get your nails done one time this month. Don't get your hair done one time. Give up one pair of tennis shoes for a month and go get a passport. That was it. That was all you posted. And I remember sitting back and thinking, now why? What is that about?
So you and I, we're very transparent in that if somebody talks to me, I might relate whatever we're talking about at the time to an experience I had in Dubai, or an experience I had in Rio, or an experience I had in Beijing. And I started realizing that when I'm speaking that way and I'm saying these random occurrences that were similar to something that happens right now in the space which I'm talking, I'm looking at faces of confusion and extreme like unrelatability to what I'm saying. They're like, "Oh wait, so you went to Beijing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, wait, so you went to Rio, like where the Olympics are happening right now?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been there. I actually made money there. I had went for a job.
Uh-huh.
How? Like, and what it started making me understand was that they weren't like they're not pursuing the same things as me. And the fear. So like part of their fear of acceptance is that they're going to get their nails done every day and their hair done every Saturday, so their nails done and hair done every Saturday, and make sure the car's washed and waxed, and they're doing everything to keep the appearance of a cleanly citizen for social reasons mainly, as well as just they like to feel a certain level of stature. Cool. But what they don't understand or haven't yet eclipsed is that while you're doing that and spending this little bit of bread every week, 4 weeks in a row, you've never even gotten a passport nor looked at the fact that airline prices are cheaper now internationally if you get them in advance. The same experiences I'm telling you I've had that you're looking at as being damn near impossible to the point where you're looking at me with total utter shock and amazement, like, you've been to where? You could do too. Like I might have just started in the Caribbean, but then eventually I started going further than that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people want to, but a lot of it has to do with fear. Like some people create these fears of just like, I can't be on an airplane for 10 hours, not like to just not get a passport and not allow yourself the opportunity to have the experience. Crazy. And there's more people that are like that than we both know. And when I hear that, it actually makes me feel sad for them. I'm like, you don't have a passport? Like I can show you so many stamps in my little book. I feel bad. Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, no, in a lot of ways though, I think what I was thinking about too is that's kind of like a little bit of a culture thing, right? Like you were telling me about when you went to college, how everyone in your neighborhood looked at you crazy, like you're leaving New York. I mean, that's part of the same thing. But what it also makes me think about is my experience that's similar to that has to do with women. For women, there's a whole nother layer of fear in there that women don't want to be seen alone.
Yeah.
They don't, whether it's men, whether they're with a boyfriend or husband or whatever, that's better.
Right.
But even just being with a friend or whatever is fine. For the longest time, and still most of the time, even today, I always look around a restaurant. I'm the only woman eating by myself. I feel bad for all these women that miss so many opportunities and so many things to go do in the world because they're afraid to do them by themselves. Now, I see millennial women being much braver about that. I mean, we have a mutual friend who's always out hiking some great mountain or whatever, and at least half, if not more of the time, she's by herself, and she doesn't think anything about it. This makes my heart so happy. And I'm sure the same to you. When one of your friends goes and gets a passport, you're like, yeah, get out there. But that for me is, because if women are afraid, their gut reaction is not to do something unless they've got a support system with them. How does that translate to work? How does that translate to people being trapped in relationships or marriages or whatever, where they don't really want to be there, but they're afraid to live by themselves? Yeah. I mean, there's that, to me, that's a very, I think, much more of a American female problem. Is the fear of exposure, of vulnerability, of being alone is a bad thing in a lot of women's heads, especially young women. And it crushes me because I can't imagine how much of my life, the experiences I've had in my life,
Right.
would be so tiny if I didn't just get out there and go for it.